Sorry, there's a connection problem on my side. I want to confirm first to Mr. Bedi Karisma, do you present from Indonesia or from Brunei Darussalam? Sorry, I can't hear you. You still mute your mic, yes?
Yes, sorry. Yes, I will be presenting from Indonesia.
From Indonesia, okay. So,
Yes.
KWIB, right? So I propose that we stick to the order that on the list of the paper that I have been given. So the first presenter will be Ms. Mulyani Pratiwi, and then Mr. Bedi, and the last Ms. Sarifah. Okay. But since we have not seen Ms. Mulyani, because this is Jumat, I'm afraid that we will have to move forward. Maybe Ms. Mulyani will be the last presenter. Okay, so the first presenter will be you, Mr. Bedi. Do you already be prepared?
Yes.
Okay, so let's begin the second day of parallel session in room 2. That will be moderated by me, Rahmat Izwan Heroza. I'm from University of Sriwijaya. Nice to meet you. And the first paper will be presented by Mr. Bedi Karisma, Dr. Wahyu Cesarendra, Muhammad Abdillah, Christoph Obzet, Christoph, Adam, and others. Okay. For the paper competitive strategy, again theory approach for developing rolling stock manufacturer in Southeast Asia. Okay, you have 25 minutes at max. So yes, time is yours.
Okay, let me start my screen. Wait. Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Rahmat and others. Let me introduce myself. My name is Bedi Karisma. Currently, I am a manager in Indonesian rolling stock manufacturer. Perhaps you already know, but we will try to make it undisclosed. Okay, so for the time, thank you for the time, and I will be presenting about my paper under the title Competitive Strategy, a game theory approach for a developing manufacturer in Southeast Asia, which is the theory that we would like to apply in the rolling stock manufacturer, and specifically in Southeast Asia. So let's start with the what. What is my paper is about? First of all, because this is a ICONISCSE International Conference in Information Systems, I would like to give some bridging why my paper should be presented here. So as we know that information system is an integrated set of components for collecting, storing, and processing data to provide to provide information, knowledge, and digital products. Here, we know that in my research, we do collect some data, a lot of it, like 1,000 rows of data. And then from that, we have to make sure that this data is given a context, so it will give educate informations to make a knowledge how to make decisions. And a competitive strategy that we would like to present here is described as taking offensive or defensive actions or any action necessary for a company to create a defendable position in an industry, to cope successfully with the 5 competitive forces and thereby yield a superior return on investment for the firm. This context, this competitive strategy has been introduced by Michael E. Porter, which is very knowledgeable person in management. So he present a general competitive strategy, which is as we saw in this slide, that there are 4 strategy: differentiations, cost leadership, differentiation focus, and cost focus, which can be divided into 2 categories from industry-wide point of view and also the uniqueness perceived by the consumer and the positions. So as we know that this paper will describe about rolling stock industry, so we would like to make a segmentations that this paper will only focus on a particular segment of market. So we will only talk about differentiation focus or cost focus. Since the rolling stock market is kind of different from fast-moving consumer good or any other retail good, so I really hope that we have to agree that rolling stock market is a particular segment market. It's a very narrow target, so there are only 2 options of competitive strategy: either differentiation focus or cost focus. Either you have to make sure that your product is special as perceived by the consumer, or you have to lead your cost or price to win the competitions. And as mentioned before, the 5 competitive forces. This concept also introduced by Michael E. Porter, Mr. Porter to be in short. These forces jointly determine the intensity of industry competitions and profitability, and the strongest force or forces are governing and become crucial from the point of view of strategy formulations. As said, that there are 5 forces: the threat of new entrants, the bargaining power of suppliers, the substitutes of the products, the bargaining power of consumer, and also the competitions among the existing firms. Again, as we will discuss about rolling stock manufacturer, since the rolling stock industry is a very, it requires a lot of money to start a company or an industry like that. That's why the new entrants will be considered very low to none even. As we know, Indonesia is already 70 years old, but we still have only 1 manufacturer. That's why we will say that this forces is kind of low. And also in a number of suppliers for this industry, we are talking about the components manufacturer for this industry is also very low to none. The numbers of the suppliers is fluctuatively stagnant. And also the substitutes, I see that there is no other substitutes. I mean, in the only vehicles that can run on rails is only a train. That's why the substitutes in this industry will be considered as none. And the customer, we probably see some some changes in numbers. For example, in Indonesia, we do have PT KAI, and in the last 5 years, I see that there are a few customers of rolling stock vehicles. Let's say PT MRT Jakarta, PT LRT Jakarta, and etc. But the number is quite low. So in our paper, we so agree that the competitors, I mean the rivalry among existing firms in the industry is the biggest forces or the stronger forces that will be crucial from the point of view of strategy formulations. That's why this point of view, the competition among existing firms will has to be the focus of strategy formulations. And the game theory is a game that logically challenges the strategy formulations. For example, if we see two players and they have a limited option, for example, for player A only has two options, which is has to execute strategy 1 or strategy 2, and the player B only has an option to execute strategy 1 and strategy 2, and each time each player execute their strategy, there will be a payoff. I mean, how many payoff, how many market share that they gain when they execute a strategy 1, when the other player execute the other strategy. I think it is self-explanatory in this metric. So here we would like to see what are the dominant players in the competitions among the firms, and what are the strategy that they have and has been executed, and how much the payoff that each player gain from executing those strategy. And when we ask the questions why, what problem do you want to solve? Here I emphasize three things. First is to analyze the competition condition among rivals using HSI calculations. We'll discuss about that later. To understand how much payoff gained by each player utilizing the strategy using a game theory approach. And the third and the last one is to recognize a competitive strategy for a developing rolling stock manufacturer in Southeast Asia. The purpose of this paper mostly about to recognize what kind of strategy that has to be done by a developing rolling stock manufacturer in Southeast Asia regarding considering the competitions and other five forces that we have talked about before. So how the strategy of and implementations in this paper? First, we collect data from various reputable sources, mostly from reputable media in rolling stock industry, for example, like Railway Pro, International Journal of Railway, Railway Gazette. We have collected thousands of rows of how this market, how this rolling stock manufacturer moves from time to time. We have collected what kind of vehicles that they produce, how much are their price, and how much their delivery time. And by having that data, then in order to focus in our research, we select the market segmentations. In this paper, we only focus on one specific type of products in railway, which is a diesel multiple unit. There are a lot of railway vehicles, but we select this type of vehicles. In a serviceable area market of Southeast Asia, which is probably, it will only go around to Australia market, Southeast Asia market, and other regions. And we'll only focus on in a price sensitive market. So we do know that there are price sensitive market and also cost sensitive market, but for a developing rolling stock manufacturer in South Asia, the cost sensitive market is still their target. And then, as we discussed before, we select focus among Porter's 5 forces, which is the competition itself, and then we calculate the CK value and HSI value, and then to apply game theory to recognize which strategy that should be executed by a developing rolling stock market in Southeast Asia. So the HSI Herfidel-Herman Index and CK Index. Can you see my cursor?
Yes, clearly.
Okay. So by calculating the CK, which is formulated in this formula, in these equations, and also the HSI calculation, which is indicated by this formula, we will able to identify what kind of the computations currently happening in the market. So there are 5 types of computations structure. Monopoly, which is dominated by only one players. Dominant firm, which is mostly dominated by 1 or 2 dominant firms. Oligopoly, which is probably all players in the industry has the same chance to win the market. And there is also monopolistic and also a perfect competitions. So by having the market share data, which is I have calculated since 2016 until 2019, we already know what are the market shares in this market. So we do know our players in this market. We do know CAF from Spain, CRRC from China, Hyundai from Korea, Marubeni from Japan, Mexico, Indonesian railway industry, and also rights from India. So those are the players in the market. And based on the data that we have collected, we already know the market share from each player. And it's changed time to time, and it's kind of fluctuative. That's why we need to calculate it. We cannot just base our gut or feeling to place to know exactly what are the competition structure in the market right now. We have to calculate the HSI and CK to exactly measure what are the conditions of the markets. And from the calculations, we see that in 2016, 2019, mostly in this market, in this specific product, mostly the market structures falls between a dominant firm or monopoly. Saying that dominant firms or monopoly, saying that we can see that there are almost certainty that this market only dominated by 1 or 2 players. We can see here is the S3 and also the S6. S3 is a Hyundai from Korea.
Hello. Is the connection problem on my side on your side? I can hear your voice.
I think it's from Mr. Bedi, Mr. Rahmat.
Okay. Mr. Bedi? Okay, they say. Okay. Okay, can you continue? I think that you just disconnect. You still unmute your, okay, yes.
Oh, sorry. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So the price and delivery times, it moves from time to time. It changes, it fluctuates. So we cannot say that the price of a specific product in this market stagnant over time. No. And also the delivery time is also changes. So from that changes, we can see that the players of the industry, we categorize it into Indonesian railway industry itself and its competitors. So in 2016 and 2017, the Indonesian railway industry increased their price, increased delivery time. And by executing this strategy, the payoff, the market share falls around 6.62%. Well, since because this game theory adopt the zero-sum game, the payoff will be positive exactly at the same value. In 2017, Indonesian railway industry choose to increase their price and increase delivery time to focus on the quality. And the payoff, the market share boosts to 26.15, and the competitors loses around the same value. And in 2018 and 2019, Indonesian railway industry executed strategy to decrease their price and decrease delivery time, which is to win the market. Of course, people would like to buy a product which is lower in price and also faster in delivery time. And the payoff was significantly improved to 46.76%. And the competitors loses around the same value, around the same numbers. And when we plot that into the game theory matrix, we can see that the competitors seems never execute strategy to decrease their price and decrease delivery time. Probably this is to maintain their quality by reducing price and reducing the delivery time might put the competitors to have some quality issues. And while increasing price and increasing delivery times probably is not chosen by the competitors because it will be disappoint the customers. So from the matrix, we can see that there are only few options. And to summarize, from our research, we could see some conclusions. There are 5 conclusions here. First, the biggest competitor in DMU market for an Indonesian railway industry in its serviceable area market is Hyundai Rotem. It's not the CRRC, it's not anything else. Even though in real conditions, when a manufacturer bid to win a tender, they will see a lot of competitors. But focusing on one competitor, but focusing on one competitor might give an exact directions in which they have to go. If a company with its limited resources has to compete with a lot of competitors, that will put the company in danger. Knowing 1 or 2 competitors will make the resource allowance to win the market competitions will be more focused. And the second conclusion is the rivalry among players in the market is often falls within the dominant firms and monopoly market structure. And the third, to win the market share, lowering the price and providing fast delivery time is obviously the best strategy for anyone in the market. It is kind of obvious, but we have to justify this statement. And the fourth, the second recommended strategy is to focus on quality by increasing price and postpone delivery time. Since we can see that even though the Indonesian railway industry in some period executed the strategy to increase their price and also postpone the delivery time to focus on the quality, and the market share is still positive. And the last conclusion is the Indonesian railway industry still has room, not much, but still has room to execute quality focused strategy to respond, and the market will still respond positively. As we can see here, that the pink dots representing the Indonesian railway industry. The x-axis is the delivery time, and the y-axis is the price. As we can see that most of the time, Indonesian railway industry able to execute the low price strategy, which is here. That's why I see that there is still some room to increase their price, to focus on the quality, but not so much in the delivery time. Some of the competitors already able to deliver the products in faster way. That's all the conclusions that we take from this research. Thank you for your time. If there's any questions, please let me know.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the time also is up. Is there any question from the other participant?
I would like to ask something to Mr. Bedi, Mr. Rahmat.
Yes, sure, please.
Hello, Mr. Bedi. It was very great presentation, and I would like to know why you choose to focus differentiation and cost. Meanwhile, the other have the same value.
Okay, perhaps I would like to share my screen again. Perhaps we are talking about this slide. Am I correct?
Yes, that part.
Okay. So there are only 4 competitive strategy. And it is divided by its industry. And which is, there are industry-wide. This is for the industry which has a very broad target, for example, like fast-moving goods and other retail products. So they have an options to choose differentiations or cost leadership. But for a rolling stock manufacturing, which is which has only particular segment, the market is very narrow. They only have options to execute differentiation focus and cost focus. And this paper will guide you in a journey to which strategy that has to be done by Indonesian rolling stock industry. Perhaps that answer your questions, Ms. Sarifa?
Yes, okay. It's all right. Thank you, Mr. Bedi.
Okay,
Is there any other questions?
Okay, is there any question from the other participant? If there's not any, I think we will go to the next presentation. Thank you very much, Mr. Bedi Karisma. For our next presentation, we will have Ms. Sarifa Putri Raffesia that will present her paper with title The Employment of Gamification Towards Excellence in Police Services Management. Okay, time is yours.
All right, thank you very much for the time, Mr. Rahmat. Today, I would like to represent myself as one of our team to present the paper with title The Employment of Gamification Towards Excellence in Police Service Management. The authors are Sarifa Putri Raffesia, me myself, and Taufikur Rahman, Dinda Lestarini, Ali Bardadi, and Mr. Firdaus. We start from the research background, why we choose this topic and why we do this research. First, there is a lack of user motivation. In this case, it's police motivation. and then it's supported by some literature, like there's a fund from Thailand said that there is a very motivation of their local police, and then there is the needs to fair reward system, and then using the user's background as millennial to boost the work performance, as we know that police work in field now on most of them are millennials, and then the imbalance of reward and effort in workplace might cause job stress. So it will lead to feeling of failure, sadness, frustration, which turn to health and welfare problem and will end up to the other problem which bigger than that. Related study, previous study using motivation hygiene theory that took police case stated that there exists a relationship between work stress and performance. So we took the base of our research that once police personnel feel the work stress, their performance was getting low. So the other study from Thanksform Store 2017, other study recommend fair and clear reward system for police because each person could have different effort. In the game theory, we can calculate and then simulate how we do the reward system. And the next, I would like to introduce the term gamification, which aims to the first found in 2011 by this Sebastian Deterding. Gamification aims to present the application of game elements to non-game context. So this is not game. We just use the non-game. We just use the elements to the non-game context. In this research, we use the reward system of police. And this is a motivational and psychological oriented approach which aim to boost user participation and engagement. This technique relates to research about human behavior during the activity. So we use their behavior, what they like, and then we use that to boost the motivation and their engagement to the system. When humans obtain reward and feedback, endorphin system in their body produce dopamine, which stimulates engagement and sense of satisfaction. So once they engage to the system, they will make this job feel like more engaged and then do something with their willingly, not by force. Naturally, human-like challenge such as games are perceived appeal because there are typically high uncertainty inside the challenge. Human love challenge because when they feel challenged, they will do the job and they will try to find the better solution. Hence, players spend so much time to play the games. That's what we take their behavior, and then we are not asking the police to play the game, but we just take their behavior and their motivation in playing the games which they like to do their job. Related study, there are 3 reasons which are related to trustworthy of police service. This is taken by National Office of Statistics. Police could not do anything. 30% they say that police could not do anything. They don't believe that police can do something that they need, and then police not interested or feel bothered once they report something. It has 20%, and then dislike or fear of the police previous bad experience maybe, and with the police court it's 1%. So which means the reason that directly related to the police as a professional is 54% of the 3,115 participants. Building the game-based system, we cannot use the system. We cannot use the method like waterfall, like SDLC, but we just can adapt that to build that. Why? Because there is the different needs and requirement between persons in the gamification context, and then in only common program or application. First, we start with initiation, and then we'll produce initiation document, and then enter the analyze phase, and then two ways requirement design to go to design. Two ways. It's while we do analyze, we can do also design. While we can do design, we can also still analyze and then produce the process model. And also gamification workflow, and then we put how the solution for the problem, and then we do the implementation after the resolution, and then do the validation testing such a black box, and then user testing, and then we do the testing deliverable. We get the testing deliverable, and then we do the deployment. Technical report user will get by the process deployment, and then do monitoring. Now, Nicholas Gicard say that most of problem in the IT project, the problem is how to adopt them. It's not how to build them. So in this framework, we put adoption and diffusion theory. So after we build the program or the application or game-based system, we have to add the adoption and diffusion theory to ensure that they do the system, and then they understand the system, they love the system, and they will use the system. Here is the implementation that we made. The first one is dashboard. The second one, we can see this is the profile and mobile base. The third one, it is the for in Indonesia, it's like the report atau BAP, berita acara. Nah, and then the leaderboard, it show how in the top, or who is in the top right now, and the point, and then it will gain the challenge among them. If they once feel the challenge, they will do their work better. They want to be the best, and they want to get it like that. So for the next, how we measure the engagement, we use the user engagement scale. It has elements such as focus attention, perceived usability, aesthetic, and endurability, novelty, and involvement. And every element, they have statements such as for focus attention, they have during the interaction, I'm very focused, and then I feel focused on my work, I enjoy the system and focus and my work. We do this by putting scale Likert, and then ask the police to use the system directly for 10 days, and then they will directly put the value in the scale Likert. And the result, we engage 30 police for 10 days using the system. We get 4.74 towards the gamified system, their engagement level. So the result reflects that the system reached its goals to engage the police. So in the conclusion, the results show that the police personnel were more engaging to do the tasks using the system. In the future, system will be tested by a larger group to ensure that by adding the game element to the law enforcement process, the police personnel who are millennials will be more engaged, and then which leads to positive motivation and better result. Okay, that's all my presentation, Mr. Rahmat. Thank you very much, and I would like to listen to the question from the other participant.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any question from the other participant, please?
Yes, Ms. Sarifa, could you please tell me about the sample populations of these policemen and which regions this survey is going on?
The region, we took the Polda Sumsel, Sumatera Selatan, and then we do some small MOU with them, and then we ask they direct their personnel, 30 personnel, to
30,
use
yeah.
our system. Yeah, 30 personnel to use their system, because we cannot. Once they say 30, okay, we took the 30. We cannot force how many people we get from that process.
Okay, so from your research, we may conclude that the gamifications will increase the service excellence in police department, right?
Yeah, motivation of them and they
Yeah. So how confident are you if this research expanded to larger groups, for example, like Indonesia? Do you think that the result will be still positive?
I think it's going to be. I positively I said that it can be successful for around about 40%, because it in this system we convert the uh, digital or virtual reward to the real reward. So once they say that they get the reward, they get 1 star, it means then we converted the real reward like that.
I see. So it's some kind of Gojek applications, if I may presume.
Like that. Yes.
Okay, but how about the boundaries? I mean, we do know that millennials easily engage in the digitalizations, but how about the older police?
It is targeting the millennials, people who work in the field, police
Okay.
in the field.
So the old police guy do not go in the field?
No.
Is that what you think?
No. Millennial born from it's about around 17 years old to the 14 years old. So we target the user in that range.
Okay. So if I may say that these gamifications will yield positive results on millennials, but not so on older generations of policemen.
Yeah, maybe they will
Would
feel
you agree on
bothered.
that?
Yes, that's true. Maybe because there is a research says that gamification cannot be applied to other age to the
Yes.
other age than millennial, because they will feel bothered. Older people will feel bothered with that feature.
Exactly. That's all for me.
Thank you, Mr. Bat.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Is there any question from other participants? I think there's no other participant, right? So I actually I have one question. Because we also have to wait for another participant. In terms of police services management, why would you guys thought in the first place that gamification is interesting to do in the police service management? Because from what I believe, in police department they have rules that they have to obey, they have to comply. So I think they have no other option to not obey the rules. So then why you guys think that they can obey or disobey based on their own preference?
Because there was finding first, Mr. Rahmat. It said that the police have lack of motivation, and then said that they need fair reward system. That's the background of our research. And then there is the imbalance of reward and effort in the workplace, which will lead to the job stress. That's why we choose the police department.
Okay, so I don't know, maybe you found reports or paper that state so the compliance of the police officer to the rules
Yes.
not so high like that.
Yes, that's true. And also we found a report from National Statistic Office. There is if you can see the screen. But actually, this data belong to the year 2019 because this research actually research 1 year ago, and then this is there are 3 reasons which is related to trustworthy and in the police services. One, police could not do anything. They think like that. Police not interested in voter and dislike the fear or fear the police previous bad experience maybe, which means there is around 54% that say that they feel not good with the police performance like that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rahmat, if I may jump into discussions.
Yeah.
Of course, in every organization, there are rules in place.
Yep.
But if doing that rules is considered not fun enough or not rewarding enough,
yeah,
people, as a human being, we will tend to bypass the rules. And this is our nature as a human being. And making the rules fun is one way to make sure that the people do as they said. That's why these gamifications come in place.
Exactly.
Yes, that's true, Mr. Mehdi.
Okay. I just can't relate that if a police department cannot obey the rules, how about others? Because they, the guy who make the rules. So that's thing make me curious.
Yeah. Their strategic level make the rule, but they cannot ensure that their personnel will engage to the rule or not. Because like that.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, the rules has to be there, but the way to apply the rules has to be fun.
Yep. Okay, I agree with that. Okay, I think the last person have not yet attend, so because we have to have our prayer, Jumat prayer. I think
May I ask?
Okay.
Questions. This is out of these discussions.
Okay.
So, what is the next process after we presenting our research? When will it publish?
The publication process, I think that the committee will first compile our works, and after that, maybe back and forth between the authors and the committee to make sure that the format is good enough to be sent to the IEEE, and then after that, I think they will send to the IEEE to be processed. But
how long will it take?
Sorry?
How long will it take the process?
How long it will take?
I mean, can we expect it will be published in the next month?
I'm afraid I can't answer that. But I believe that the committee, the TPC member will give you an email, each of you, in this 1 or 2 days from now, just to make sure that the process is being handled by the team. But I'm not sure if they can make sure how much it will take as in the IEEE process. I don't know about that.
I see.
Okay, but I believe that they will have you know if they have sent the bundle to the IEEE. Okay. I think we have already finished our session. Thank you very much. This is the last day of our conference. From last day, we have 3 keynote speakers, and today we have 2 keynote speakers, and also the parallel session. I think we have recorded the session, but just to make sure, we will have another photo session, screenshot photo session. So if you may, can you turn on your camera, all of the participants?
Can we have the recording also?
Recording. I will tell the committee that you want the recording. I think they
because this room is not published on YouTube, right?
No. This is a local recording.
Okay.
Yep.
Looking forward to have it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Mrs. Sarifa, can you turn off the screen share?
Yeah, getting messy. Wait a minute. So using the background, I become the background now. Wait a minute. Sorry.
Please take the screenshot.
Wait. I would like to remove my background.
Oh, okay. Great. Even better. Okay, I will count from 3, 2, 1. Screenshot. Another screenshot.
Why the others do not turn on the video? Okay.
Yes, the operator. I think that they have not any camera on their computer. They use PC actually. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thank you very much for your attention and contribution, and your also presentation. I think that's for today.
So can we leave the room? Can we leave the meeting?
Yeah, sure. Okay, sure. You can leave this room and also the main room actually. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rahmat. Mr. Bedi, thank you.
Thank you very much.